evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight it's the 5th round of the season and we are racing at the short layout of Road Atlanta located in Braselton, Georgia of the United States of America. It's a 10-turn, 2.83 kilometer long or short track, whichever way you want to put it. We're currently out here in qualifying 4 laps and you got 10 minutes to set those 4 laps and pretty much everybody is done. We still got a couple of cars out here and Ewan Pattinson is leading the way here at the moment, about 3/10 ahead of Benny Simonson. We got 17 cars lined up for today's race and it's pretty cloudy here today, 20 degrees Celsius in the air, 27 on the track, so it's not quite as hot as I think some of the drivers would have liked, seeing how they're working to warm the tires up on their out laps here tonight. My name is Linus Broström and I'm joined as always by Ryan Walker. And Ryan, we've had 4 races so far this season, 4 different winners. You think we're going to get a 5th one here tonight?
I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, this season, so far, like you say, we've had different winners during the season so far, and I think tonight at Road Atlanta, I think it's more than possible we could get another winner. Who will be that new winner if it does happen? Well, it's been close so far up at the front. I think someone like Nick Vaughan Roberts could be one of those people that could take the win and be added to the list of new winners as we ride on board with Simon Edwards at the moment, currently sitting in 9th and qualifying at the moment.
That is a lot further down than where I think he would have liked. And Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, like you said, he had 2 wins last season, so he's definitely not new to winning. So he's probably the biggest shot at getting that, being the 5th winner. Then we have right behind him here on the standings right now, George Mattock as well, looking for his first win in the UK&I Monday Night Skippys. Be great to see him finally get that win. He's had a couple of top 5s this season, had a little bit of a worse result last week, but the winners so far is Ewan Pattinson, Will Redford, Benny Simonson and Simon Edwards, who we are riding on board with here, coming down the hill now. Round turn number 9 into turn number 10 to complete his lap. See if he can climb up from this 9th place where he's currently sitting. Comes across the line right there. Adam Miles climbs up to 5th at first and no improvement from Simon Edwards. So we're going to find him all the way down in 9th unless Ricky Shaw can put an upset down here, but we've only got 7 seconds left, so he will not make it to the finish line. When it's lone qualifier, you have 10 minutes plus 2 seconds and then it's time up, as you will see right there as he goes up in smoke. So on pole position tonight at Road Atlanta, we have Ewan Pattinson, almost 3/10 ahead of Benny Simonson, who we usually see on pole here, and then Will Redford just behind him, and another 1/1000th of a second behind him we have Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 4th, Adam Miles in 5th and George Mattock in 6th. You can see just how close those guys are there. Anthony P.M. Jones in 7th, Clark Williams in 8th, Simon Edwards in 9th, Daniel Tufts running at the top 10. We have Rhys Saunders in 11th, Ricky Shaw in 12th, Dan Blake in 13th, Dave Dowson in 14th, Ray Peasley 15th, John McDonald in 16th and David Clapham in 17th. So only 17 drivers again here today, but we're gonna blame the summer. People want to be outside having fun, so still it's gonna be another pretty good race here, I suspect, because despite having a lower turnout than usual, the races so far this season have been amazing. And you can see the grid, even though it's not very big, they're still lining up through that last corner up the hill, so the guys at the back, they're gonna have a massive launch starting in the downhill.
Yep, they absolutely are, as we're just waiting for some cars to join the grid as we count down to the green. And yeah, 17 cars like you say, but still this season so far, even with a low turnout, it's produced great racing, and it looks like everyone's just about on the grid, and in a few moments time we'll be underway, as it looks like everyone's on the grid now.
I think the last car took the grid just then, just gonna wait for the lights to come on so we can get the engines to start revving, which we have right now. The red lights have come on. Everybody's getting ready, waiting for that green flag, and there we go. That's a good getaway there from Benny Simonson in 2nd, but I think Pattinson will be way good enough to keep the lead. They're going to be side by side early here, coming down to the first corner, but I think Pattinson will have the advantage behind them as well, side by side for 4th. But Simonson around the outside, he holds it nicely out there. They still got an overlap coming up to the S's, but no, Pattinson gets the overspeed and gets clear. They're getting single file behind there as well. There's some side-by-side down for about 9th or 10th. Clark Williams getting passed there by Daniel Tufts. So 2 positions down for Clark Williams, and Saunders and Shaw going at it behind him. But at the front, Ewan Pattinson gets away with the lead despite being a little bit side-by-side there. Coming now in through the shortcut, and you can see just how dirty the track is in here. Even though they've been practicing on it for well over an hour, there's still a lot of dust coming down there. Now Simonson up to the inside of Ewan Pattinson, coming down into turn number 7 and then into 8, and Simonson with the lead. Will Redford looking up there as well, but he slots him back behind Ewan Pattinson. So Benny Simonson to the front where he's used to being. There we have up the inside now Nicholas Von Roberts, but he backs out and lets Redford have that position. Going side by side here through turn number 10, that's going to slow you down that much that the leaders will just be gone coming to the end of straightaway. And they're nose to tail here side by side as well for Simon Edwards, who is working his way up through the field already up to 7th, gained 2 positions. Now passing Anthony PM Jones here, who's still got the inside, but Simon Edwards will be clear. Daniel Tufts now on board with him, but he will back in behind PM Jones as well. So Simon Edwards up 2 positions so far.
Yep, it's been a really clean start to the race so far, and everyone's kept it in one piece as rider on board with Tufts heading through the SE section and into this long sweeping right-hander, and it's not the full layout that we're using tonight, it's a short layout, and this is the short layout or the right-hander that we're using as coming down the back straight now, and it looks like we're about to have a chance for the lead heading down to the chicane.
Pattinson looking up the inside here to get the lead back, but he's not close enough, so he backs in behind. Just finds that little bit of a gap between Simonson and Will Redford. It's not much, but still enough for one car. You can see Von Roberts there looking up the inside of Redford again, but chooses better of it and or thinks better of it and stays in behind him. 6 cars now still in this lead pack here, back to George Mattock, and then there is a little bit of a gap down to Simon Edwards, but I think Simon will be able to close that up pretty quickly. He was scored a lot higher in practice, so he certainly has speed. He just couldn't find it in qualifying, and it was still pretty close. Now we're on board here with Mattock, who is the final car in this lead group for now, about 1.2 seconds behind the leader, and he has about 1.2 seconds back to Simon Edwards as well. So Simon will have a little bit of draft from him coming down the straightaway here now, coming around the long right-hander, but I think Mattock will have enough of a draft that Simon will not be able to catch up much. As we have a move here for 3rd place, Nicholas Von Roberts up the outside of Will Redford. That would have put him on the inside coming down into 7, but he backs out. Instead here is Redford up the inside of Pattinson, and he easily takes that 2nd position away. Pattinson tries with the crossover, can't find it here, coming back out of turn number 8 over the crest. I think there was a little bit of contact, backs out there, so Redford is clear, and Von Roberts comes through as well. I think Pattinson, yeah, his left front wheel has come off somehow in the contact there with Redford. I think there was contact. That looked really strange. See if we might be able to find a replay of that. But our pole sitter, Ewan Pattinson, is out of the race on lap number 3. Oh, Redford doesn't even have a rear wing. So there has definitely been some contact there. Enough to knock that wing off, and enough to put Pattinson's wheel out of order. Here we'll see. Oh, just, well, that looked odd. Just a little bit of a wiggle from Redford, slight contact, gets that left front wheel up on top of Redford's rear end, knocks the rear wing loose and messes up the suspension enough for Pattinson that he chooses to park it off to the side of the road. But here comes Will Redford without a rear wing up to the inside of Benny Simonson, and this just goes to show you how little these guys actually use that rear wing. If anything, it's more added weight, so I think Redford might be able to just drive away with the lead now that he's got less weight on his car.
Yeah, quite possibly, as coming across the start finish line now, and that's the thing with these cars as well. Even if you don't have a rear wing, it doesn't seem to really matter or affect the handling that much. But it's something that Redford will need to be careful of. And talking of Redford, he's actually set the fastest lap of the race so far as they head into lap 5 and heading up through the SE section now. And Redford gets a little bit sideways, and yeah, he's got to be careful because he's got a pack of cars behind him, and they'll be happy to take any advantage if he slips up.
Yeah, it looks like it's hurting him just ever so slightly in the corners. He can't push just to 100%, maybe 97, 98%, but then on the straightaways, he is really quick, and it might give a little bit less draft to the guys behind as well. Here though comes Benny Simonsen to the inside. Well, Roberts is there as well, but he will stay behind, so Benny Simonsen back up to the race lead, and I think this is what we're going to see pretty much every lap coming down the hill there, down towards turn 7 and 8. Whoever is in second is just going to go past the leader, and on the final lap we might see some 3 wide as well, with third place wanting to get involved. But Benny Simonsen back to the lead, and Simon Edwards back there in 6th. You can see him in the distance. He is not really keeping up with these guys. It's now 1.7 seconds from him up to George Mattock, so not being close enough to get that draft is really hurting him, and that time around he lost another 0.3 of a second. So we'll see if they start battling up here. He might be able to close back in, but as it stands right now, he is not close enough to get involved with the top 5, so he'll have to hope for an incident. Here's a replay of Ray Peasley getting contact with Dan Blake, I believe that was, because both those cars are on pit road, using the same bit of space coming down into turn number 7, and it didn't really work out for either of them, but see if they can get their spare cars out. And here we have another move for the lead from Will Redford, and it's the same position again. So nothing really exciting going on there. Nicholas Von Roberts in 3rd, Adam Miles in 4th, and George Mattock in 5th, just sitting there keeping up with these guys, waiting for those final 2 laps where they want to make a move. Here comes Benny Simonsen though, through the final corner, makes a move on Redford up to the lead, and Nicholas Von Roberts is up there as well, so he will move up into 2nd place, and maybe the loss of the rear wing is hurting Redford now. As we're getting a bit further into the race, maybe he has to use those rear wheels up a bit more than he wants to. Gets a little bit too much temperature in them, but we'll have to see. Maybe he just made a slight mistake. Somebody that this will help though is Simon Edwards, but now here we go again, a bit sideways there from Von Roberts, so Redford is back up into 2nd, and Benny Simonsen is loving this. He's now got 0.7 of a second down to Will Redford, but they will probably catch up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. If these guys start scrapping away behind Simonsen, this will allow Simonsen to possibly pull away, maybe just make a little bit of a gap. But as you say that, coming down the back straight, these guys are managing to close the gap back down under braking, and then that slipstream, and it's come up the hill now, just about to complete lap 7, and at the moment it's Simonsen leading, but not by much now. And even without that rear wing, Redford is doing a great job keeping that car under control.
Yeah, coming across the line here, those guys did not set very good lap times, and Simon Edwards was able to catch up by 0.5 second because of that little scrap that they had coming up the hill. So Edwards closing in slightly, but Redford now back onto the rear wing of Benny Simonsen again, and a little bit further back we have a battle as well for 11th, 12th and 13th with Ricky Shaw, John McDonald and Dave Dowson. See if we can get that on screen. Just as I say that, they slot in single file coming through the SS, so nothing major going on there again. Onto the back straight again though, we have Will Redford. He's looking to the outside, it looked like there, but he will be on the inside for the next corner as well, again as he comes to the left in the end anyway, and he has passed Benny Simonsen as they come over the crest, and he will have the lead easily coming into the braking. So you can see Von Roberts braking earlier than those other two as well, to make sure that nothing happens and they stay clear. And last time by Simon Edwards, he closed in 0.5 second. This time I think these guys are going to pull away by about 0.5 second. We'll have to see here how much the gap is going to change. 5.1 from George Mattock that time, and a 5.6 from Simon Edwards. So yeah, 0.5 second the gap increased by, as George Mattock actually set the fastest lap of the race there as well. Beat Nicholas Von Roberts by only 7/1000ths of a second, but for now it is George Mattock with the fastest lap, and he is still back there in 5th place. So looking to possibly make a move up through the order, and we're already on lap number 9 here on this short lap, but we are going to do 22 of them, so still a long way to go here, and a lot can happen. Had a bit of a slider from Adam Miles, put a bit of smoke there up in front of George Mattock, but these 5, they are still nose to tail. Looks like Simonsen is not going to get a good run this time, but he's going to make a late move to the inside anyway. Redford shows a little bit of a block, so he chooses to stay behind. I'm not really sure how he couldn't be closer, but maybe Redford just had a bit too much speed coming out of the previous corner. Von Roberts now has a peek up the inside again coming over that crest, but stays in 3rd. It doesn't look like he's satisfied sitting back there in 3rd, but at the same time he doesn't want to make too much of a move to cost these guys too much time, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight too much with with Patterson and Simonson in front of him. I think maybe at the moment he's just sitting back and just watching these guys and maybe planning what he's going to do and see where he thinks he's stronger than these guys and maybe try and make a move there. But I think his best opportunity if he gets a run is Simonson, and Simonson gets a bit sideways, and Von Roberts, like I say, I think he's just sitting there planning what he's going to do. But he can't be too cautious or sit around too much, because he's got Adam Miles and George Mattock behind them, who will happily take a position or two if he slips up.
Both of those guys back there still looking for their first win here, as Benny Simonson now moves to the inside and he has passed Will Redford well before the braking zone, and those guys back there as well taking it easy. And last time by they pulled another 2/10 on Simon Edwards, so that gap is just under 2 seconds now from Mattock down to Simon Edwards. So no better than 6th for Simon should this result stand as it is now for these guys at the front. See this time by here now comes Von Roberts, has a peek up the inside of Will Redford. He's going to be clear by the time they get to turn number 1, and he's actually up next to Benny Simonson as well, but Simonson has a massive overspeed there on the outside, so I think they just got a little bit too close to each other there, and they pretty much had to make a move, or Miles would have made a move on Roberts, sorry. So Roberts didn't really have a choice, he had to take second place away there, and now he might be able to get up into the lead for the first time here, having started in 4th. He's currently up 2 positions. Now he moves, he has a lot tighter line there around turn number 6 than these other guys, but now we will see him move to the outside as he gets right up to the back of Nicholas Von Robertson. Redford is there as well. Oh no, he decides to stay behind. He looked to make a move but did not want to go 3 wide this early, so smart move there from Will Redford, giving these two at the front first and second position. But next time he might not be that cautious. Later on in the race definitely we will see a 3 wide coming down there though, but yeah, smart move there from Redford, saving these guys a lot of time. Looks like they're still going to be pulling away from Simon Edwards here this time around, as George Mattock has dropped back slightly, but as soon as they get into the next braking point he's going to close back in again, and Edwards that time by actually gained 3/10 of a second, almost 4/10, so a little bit of scrapping around the lap other than into turn 7, and the gap down to Edwards comes down again, but it's still just under 2 seconds, so I'm not sure if that is going to be enough. Will Redford now onto the back of Benny Simonson again. Will he go for the 3 wide move this time? We'll have to see as they move into the shortcut here around turn number 5, I believe that is, and then onto the little kink here, which is turn number 6, and into the hard braking zone into turn number 7. Simonson moves out, Redford stays behind him, so he might be able to follow him through here up into 2nd. No, he's going to stay behind again. Doesn't want to make it 3 wide, doesn't want to be side by side into 7 and 8, so still 3rd place for Will Redford, and we have passed halfway, and Benny Simonson back into the lead once again.
Yep, as they come round to complete lap 12, heading into lap 13, and still it's Simonson leading, but as I say that, Von Roberts gets a great run over the line, heading down to turn 1, and he's up the inside. Redford try and make a move, try and make a 3 wide. No, he doesn't, but Von Roberts up the inside and into the lead, and it looks like Redford is sort of up the inside, or was up the inside of Simonson, as Adam Miles decides to join in as well, and yeah, cheekily tries to go around the outside of Redford into this for the Essex section.
And guess what that did? Passing through a couple of corners. Look now right behind Adam Miles. Simon Edwards, he is within 1 second now. All of a sudden, past lap he gained 4/10, and then he gained another half a second just through those first couple of corners. Simon Edwards will join the party. Here now comes Benny Simonson though up the inside of Nicholas Von Roberts, and Will Redford stays behind. No 3 wide this time either. He's going to back up really early to let these guys be single file, because he knows that Simon Edwards is closing in every time they go side by side through a corner. But I think it's too late for that, so Simon Edwards and Anthony P.M. Jones behind him has joined the party here, and within a couple of laps I think it's going to be a train of 7 cars, because they have the draft now, so there's no way to lose these guys behind. And that time around Simon Edwards, he gained 7/10 of a second on George Mattock, so he is right there. Nicholas Von Roberts though looking to the inside almost there on Simonson, who closes the door on him. Not a very good place to try and make a move through the SS here. But Redford right onto the back here. Von Roberts looks like he's going to try and set him up with a little bit of a crossover, but nope, not in there. In through turn number 5 here again. This time Warren Roberts is going to have a peek to the right side actually, and he will actually make the move happen as well. That is going to put Redford to the left, and they are actually going to be 3 wide for once. Redford with the inside, Warren Roberts on the outside. Who is going to get the advantage here? Stuck in the middle is Simonson, and Miles tries to go around the outside, which means Mata comes through as well, so they're side by side for 4th. But Will Redford without a rear wing up to the lead, and Mata comes through up to 4th there on Miles, and Simon Edwards is right there now. He will make a move for 5th place here, I think. Nope, he had to back out a little bit to not run over the back of Adam Miles. But Matak makes a move on Simonson as well as Edwards. He's through on Adam Miles and up to 5th, so all of a sudden from being over 2nd back in 2 laps, he's right in the battle and he's gained a position up into 5th. Simon Edwards, he could be going for the win here.
Yeah, fantastic move by Simon as he runs a little bit wide there, heading into the S's section. Fantastic move from Simon to get the move, get that position from Miles, and I think Simon Edwards now, he's in 5th position, and I think he's pretty much he's in one of those situations. He's got nothing to lose. He can just go for it and try and pick up a couple of positions, and maybe even try and pick up a podium position. But at the moment, 5th position, heading down to the chicane, and I think you might just be waiting to see what these guys are up to. And as I say that, Adam Miles cheekily takes that position back.
He couldn't really utilize the drafter. Simon Edwards and Miles just threw it back up the inside and took that lead back. Will Redford holding on to the lead out. Here comes Nicholas Von Roberts trying to make a move into turn number 1, but it is almost impossible to get that move done before the start finish line, as Von Roberts sets the fastest lap of the race there, being the only driver to go below the 105 into 104.884 as he takes the lead here. And the Simonson comes through as well, and Will Redford up through the S's. Redford's going to break a little bit earlier, so Simonson up into 2nd. Now George Matic back there in 4th, trying to get a move done somewhere, trying to find an opening as they come through the end of the S's here around turn number 4 into the long turn number 5. Contact between Redford and Simonson. Simonson gets sideways. Redford loses momentum. Here comes George Matic. He's up into 3rd. He's going to be up into 2nd as well. Adam Miles trying to follow him, but George Matic up into 2nd place. This could be his best shot at a win so far. Simonson still looking on the inside, but he backs out. Miles at the inside of Redford, nearly on the inside of Simonson, but Redford will hold on as well. Contact again. Miles is in the grass. Edwards is going to come through, as is PM Jones, so Miles is going to be down to 7th. He's still going to have contact with these guys if he can get his momentum up coming down the hill. But Miles almost up into 4th, nearly 3rd place, drops down to 7th. Here comes Simonson now up the inside of George Matic. He's going to take 2nd position back as Nicholas Von Roberts has pulled out a 6/10, nearly 7/10 of a second lead. And PM Jones here on the back of Redford and Edwards are side by side for 4th. It's really kicking off now, Ryan, but the leader, Nicholas Von Roberts, he has pulled away slightly. That lead obviously going to come down when they get onto the straightaway, but a little bit more battling here for 2nd between Simonson and Matic, and he will be gone.
Yeah, it only takes Simonson and Matic to keep scrapping away with each other, and that lead's just going to get bigger and bigger. But as they head onto the straight now, that gap's starting to come down up at the front ever so slightly with the slipstream being in effect. But yeah, coming to the closing stages of the race, and it's all starting to kick off now, and this is the point of the race where everyone just decides that enough is enough, and yeah, basically just decide to get their elbows out. But yeah, it was unfortunate for Miles, that incident the previous lap, because he was right up there, but he's still in this lead pack. But I think winning this race is probably out of the question. Finishing on the podium, definitely not out of the question.
5 laps to go now, this time by coming around turn number 1. Von Roberts is holding on to the lead, and they have caught up to the back of him. But then from Matic down to Redford is about half a second, and then another half a second down to Simon Edwards in 5th. So just as I say that, Redford actually catches right up to the back of George Matic coming up the hill. So he is back in the battle, but I wonder how much that rear wing is going to affect him, as we have a battle here. I believe that's Ricky Shaw and Dave Dowson for 10th and 11th, as Shaw holds the position there from Dave Dowson coming up the hill, up through the S's. But we have a move here again for a lead. Benny Simonson looking to get back to the top spot. Where is Matic going to go? He's going to stay behind in 3rd, playing it safe as well, looking almost to get up the inside of Von Roberts there, but elects to stay behind. And behind them, PM Jones and Miles are going at it as PM Jones comes through, gets back up to 6th place there, and I think Miles went a little bit wide because he's just falling back on the time. There might have been a bit of contact between those two.
Yep, as they come across the line now, heading down to turn 1. Vaughan Roberts is going for the move into turn 1 and retakes the lead. Can Simonson try and get the switch back? He can a little bit, but I don't think sticking up the inside heading into the SS section is probably not the wisest move. But George Matic's still involved in this battle for the lead, so is Will Redford, and Simon Edwards as well is staying with this pack. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car battle for the lead going on, and who's going to win this race? Well, I have no idea, but this is a fantastic battle going on nevertheless.
I just hope that George Matic makes it to the finish line this time, because last week he didn't have very much of a good result. Here he goes to the inside, he's going to try and make it 3 wide. Simonson in the middle, Roberts all the way over to the right. He's going to back up a little bit early though, Matic, to let Simonson have the lead, and looks like Vaughan Roberts is going to regain second, and Redford is going to come through to third as well. A little bit optimistic going 3 wide through there. It's actually going to cost him a position rather than gain him anything. Gets right on the nose there of Simon Edwards as well. Now backing behind Redford, he goes defensive on Edwards as we have 3 laps to go. Benny Simonson is in the lead, Vaughan Roberts right behind him. Now Redford back up to third. Will he be able to make a move up into second? We will have to see. Now Simon Edwards trying to find an opening around Matic, but not a good place to make a move here up through the S's. So I think he will try and stay behind at least onto the straightaway. Roberts now right on the back of Simonson, coming around 5 into turn number 5, which is the shortcut, onto turn number 6, which is the kick. He's going to go to the left this time, which is the wiser move. It's going to give him the inside. Redford now is not going to stay behind for 2 wide. He's going to go up the inside, make it 3 wide. Simonson is going to be passed by both, and Redford is going to get both of them coming into the corner side by side for second. Now Matic back here trying to find an opening somewhere. He will go behind Simonson, going to get the inside on Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, but it's Will Redford to the lead with 2 laps to go, and Matic backs out of that one as they're still side by side for second. And Roberts has to go a little bit wide on the grass. Now here comes Edwards on Matic. Matic lost all momentum having to get off the gas there. So side by side for second. Matic holds on for fourth. And Simonson looks like he's going to get second place there as he gets clear of Vaughan Roberts. And Matic up the inside here, now coming to the S's as well for third place. Where is he going to go? Roberts is going to keep it on the track as well with the inside for the next corner. But now it's switched back to inside for Matic, and he is going to get third place. But the front 2 cars have pulled away. They've lost 9/10 of a second to the front pair here, so unless they slow it down a bit back here and start battling and start getting that draft, the battle for the win is going to be between Will Redford and Benny Simonson as they're side by side again here for third place.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much if there's probably a chance of trying to possibly take the win, but still they've got the battle for the final podium position going on at the moment in Vaughan Roberts, and actually, as I say that, they're closing the gap back down on the top 2 in front of them, but I think they might just be running out a little bit of time to close the gap and try and challenge for that win. But as they come across the line, it's still Vaughan Roberts in second, and it looks like we've got Redford going for the move heading down to turn 1. I think that's a bad mistake, because I think if I was Redford, I would have waited until that back straight to try and make the move. But still, as head through turn 1, heading up to the S's section, it's Redford leading from Simonson and Vaughan Roberts in third place, and this pack behind Redford and Simonson are closing back up, so we might see a bit of a 3 wide going down to the final, or heading down to the chicane rather.
We'll have to wait and see. It does not look like Vaughan Roberts is going to be close enough to make the 3 wide, but Benny Simonson certainly is going to have a move here on Will Redford. He's looking to get to the right. He's going to stay in behind as long as he can. Here he goes. He's going to go to the left because there's no room on the right. Vaughan Roberts is a little bit too far back, but Matic goes for the move on second. A contact between the leaders. Simonson is off. Matic is going to come through, and George Mann, he's going to go in the grass. Simonson is off. Matic comes through. We'll get a slowdown. Who is going to get the win here? It looks like Nicholas Vaughan Roberts is going to come through. Matic is going to slow down too much around the outside, but it is Nicholas Vaughan Roberts coming through to get the win. George Matic in second and Simon Edwards in third, and Benny Simonson and Will Redford are both off the track as Redford comes to the line in sixth. Heartbreak for Matic. He had the chance to get the win and he just couldn't keep it out of the grass as we have the battle for 10th here between Rick Shaw and Dave Dowson. Simonson has finished the race on pit road, so this is the battle for 10th. They're not going to gain anything from that crash, but here they come. It is going to be Rick Shaw holding off Dave Dowson for 10th place, Dowson in 11th, and clapping behind them in 12th, a couple of seconds back, and the rest of the drivers I believe have finished 1 lap down or more. but Simonson and Redford, sorry, contact coming down to the final chicane, and Von Robertson, Mattock is able to slice through, but Mattock cannot keep it on the track, trying to avoid these guys. Let's see what happens here. Edwards is holding, or sorry, Redford. Yeah, Redford is actually coming across a little bit there on Simonson, trying to pinch him into the corner. You can see Mattock there just goes a little bit too far wide. I mean, he has the speed here to keep the win, but I think he got a slowdown and just had to check up too much. And it does not look like he will get penalized, so he did take that slowdown in time. Looks like Edwards runs into the back of him there, trying to get a run as well. But Nicholas Von Roberts is the 4th winner of the season here, so you got it right. 4th winner, and it's Nicholas Von Roberts, as we're right on board here with George Mattock as well.
Yeah, I think that was probably the first time I've ever got a prediction right, which is probably the only time it'll happen. But what a battle for the win on the final lap! It all kicked off into the chicane, and it looked like Mattock could have held on for the win, but he just outbraked himself, and that gave Von Roberts the opportunity to get the run, sneak up the inside, take the win at the finish line. But as we look at the replay again, riding from the view of Von Roberts, and yeah, it's just Von Roberts actually got tagged in the left front.
I so badly wanted that for George Mattock though, but reverse commentator's curse from Ryan on Nicholas Von Roberts there, who comes through, and I believe that it might have been that little bit of contact between Mattock and Roberts that sent Mattock going wide, and I think he might have missed his braking point slightly as well. Seeing those two get together, you don't really know where to look, as we have a final replay here from Simon Edwards, who was back in 5th here coming down the straight, ultimately finishing in 3rd as he got past the 2 crashed cars. And Mattock making a move here to the inside for 3rd. You can see the contact there between the leaders, and Mattock, he might have let off the gas to make sure that he gets through on Will Redford, gets a little bit of contact there with Von Roberts as they come down the hill here. Mattock has a slowdown to serve. I'm not sure how much it is, but you definitely don't want to serve it more than you need to, and you can see he's got something scraping as well, sparks flying. Edwards can't turn enough to get underneath him. But Nicholas Von Roberts coming away with the victory here at Road Atlanta, and what a race we got. I thought it was down to those two at the end, but Nicholas Von Roberts comes through with the victory, 4th winner in 4 races. So let's hope that George Mattock can do this next week. Then he comes home in 2nd here today. Simon Edwards in 3rd, PM Jones in 4th, and Adam Miles in 5th. Will Redford limps to the line to finish in 6th. Daniel Tufts in 7th. Clark Williams in 8th, Benny Simonson limps across the line on pit road in 9th, with Rick Shaw running out the top 10 as you saw there in the battle with Dave Dowson, who comes home in 11th, and then Dave Clapham, the final car to finish on the lead lap, so good job by him. Then we have Dan Blake and John McDonald finishing 1 lap down. Rhys Saunders had to retire about 6 laps from the end. I think actually he got his spare car out and finished only 6 laps down, and then Ray Peasley 11 laps down, and Ewan Pattinson, who had that contact early with Will Redford and knocked his rear wing off. So racing without a rear wing from Will Redford, still battling for the win up until the end. It's still a pretty good job by him, even though you don't really need the rear wing on these cars apparently. And also Nicholas Von Roberts with the fastest lap of the race, and the only lap in the race to be set under 1 minute and 5 seconds there. So if he would have got the pole, he would have had the Grand Slam here with everything, but starting 4th and coming home with the win, still a good result from him. So let's see if we have anybody available for interviews. We have our nearly race winner, but driver without the rear wing for most of the race, Will Redford. Will, talk us through how that went for you.
It was alright, leading up to the end. I had a little contact with Ewan early on, but watching that back now, he did I came off the grass, went a little sideways, and then came in front of him, and he drove into the back of me. But I think that's more of a racing incident, there's no one at fault there. And then towards the end, I was a bit too aggressive with Benny, and I was trying to squeeze him to the inside, so he didn't have a run out the chicane, and he wasn't having it. He was, he kept his ground, and we touched wheels, and that knocked us round. So that is my fault, and I'm sorry to Benny and anyone else who was involved in that.
Yeah, still some good racing from you guys, but that rear wing getting knocked off, did that help you in any way, or did it hurt you? Because it didn't really look like it affected you, especially not going down the straightaways.
I didn't really feel it at all, to be honest. In past seasons, if you had your wing knocked off, you'd go slow or you'd go faster, depending on the season. But they changed the damage model not that long back, when everyone was complaining it was too sensitive. And I don't think it really made a difference.
Well, still a great result from you there. Obviously, or well, not a great result from you, but a great race from you. So we appreciate that, even though it might not have ended the way you wanted to. But anybody you want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, you guys, as usual, for doing the broadcast. My dad, as usual, and Benny, I'm sorry, mate. I shouldn't have done that.
Well, I think he'll get over it eventually. Maybe next week, we'll see. But thank you for joining us there. Well, next up we have Ryan standing by with our race winner, Nicholas von Roberts.
Yeah, Nick von Roberts in that battle for most of the race up at the front, and Nick, it looked like you ended up falling back at one point towards the end of the race, and it looked like, or we thought anyway, that you were out in contention for the win. But on the final lap, it all kicked off, and you were the one to benefit from that incident in the chicane, and yeah, you must be pretty thrilled with that victory.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I dropped back. I made a mistake and I dropped back a bit. I knew it was a matter of just sort of keeping with the front two, because the battling was going to happen a bit later on. And for that to happen on the last corner, I just got lucky. Even though I did tap George going into the chicane, but I couldn't really avoid it because Benny was all over the place, sort of trying to keep control. But yeah, good result for me. I'm happy with that. It's a hot race, gotta say.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess with the current weather we're having, with the high temperatures as well, especially in real life, I guess that made that a bit of a challenge. Yeah, pretty hot action on the track as well. But looking ahead to Tsukuba next week, is it a track you've raced on much, and what's your expectations heading into that race next week?
That's quite a strong track for me for one lap pace sort of thing, qualifying. The race will be, I think, whoever gets pole first or second will pretty much take it, because you can defend the whole track. So I'm not sure how many passes there will actually be. So it'll be an interesting race, but yeah, it'll be more about quality for that track.
And lastly, before we let you go, Nick, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out or a thank you to?
Yeah, obviously thank you to you guys for doing this, and Alan as well. I don't think Alan made it tonight. Yeah, just thanks for doing the stream all the time.
And it's our pleasure to do them, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, again, congratulations on the victory. You kept out of trouble, and hopefully we see you on the top step of the podium next week at Tsukuba.
Yep, great. Cheers, guys.
As that was race winner Nick von Roberts joining us, and I believe up next, Linus, you've got second place finisher George Mattock.
We sure do. George Mattock, heartbreak at the end. You saw the leaders crashing, saw the gap for the win there, and just got a little bit too hot into the final chicane there. Talk us through what happened.
It's going to happen one day, Linus. It's going to happen one day. Just not today.
I hope so.
Yeah, that was really fun, actually. Really enjoyed that. It was really tricky at the end because everyone was trying to get towards the front and jostle up. But no, overall, really fun. It's just I waited to the last lap behind Nick, and then me and Nick had a side-by-side moment the lap before it. T2, I think. We weren't sure where each other were. But apart from that, yeah, I just had a nice launch onto the back straight. I think Nick was still getting a tow, so we were side by side, 2 by 2. And obviously there was the contact in front. And for a slight moment, Will was about to spin. It looked like he was about to spin into me, so I had to move to the right. And then Benny lost it and was coming to the left, so I moved to the left. And I was going to make the corner, but I think I got a very slight tap from Nick as he was avoiding Benny's spinning car. So yeah, just tapped me a little bit. And I couldn't get it slowed down, so I thought I'd just try and not kill anyone in the last corner. So I had to take a slow down. Just ticked over just before the line, sadly. But I think Nick would have got me anyway, actually.
But still, a great race, and well, that was the end of the race. How was the rest of the race for you? I mean, you were up there battling for the... Early on, it looked like you were actually taking it pretty easy, but you were up there contending for the win the whole race. And so how was that, being up there the whole time and having the chance at the victory? And then it looked like the leaders drove away, but then you caught back up again.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I've been there a couple of times, or most of the season has been near the front, or in the pack at least. But yeah, it was just... It was fun to try and pull away. I was being very cautious at the start, like you said, because I know Simon behind and Anthony were trying to catch up, and so I thought, if I'm going to send it here, it's going to probably sort of slow the pack down, and they'll come back in. So I had to be super careful with what I was doing. But I finally got past Adam when he was. I think the guys in front were 3 wide or something. So I thought I'd just try and be cheeky. So yeah, fair play to him. I just got past, and yeah, the whole race was smooth until the last 6 laps or so. I think Benny checked up at one point, and then I managed to get past. But yeah, that was good fun.
Great. I hope to see you back on the top step though next time, maybe. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to you guys, of course, for the broadcast. Alan as well. I know he wasn't here this week, but for his continuous work on the league, and shout out to Nathan as well. Nathan missed it because he was working, but I think he was watching the stream, so I know he would have been right up there as well because he had good pace during the week. So yeah, and shout out to Nick as well for stealing my win.
Thank you for that, George. Hope to see you again next week, and also congratulations on getting back above 4,000 I rating. It's not an easy thing to do. I just noticed that here on my overlay. You're actually at 4,001, so congratulations to that.
Just one.
So thanks, and next up we have our 3rd place finishers as well. Full podium today is Simon Edwards with Ryan.
Yeah, Simon started in the 9th place, and it looked like he's pretty much too far back in the first half of the race. But Simon, you managed to drag yourself into that lead pack towards the end of the race. And what was your strategy when you caught up to the guys? Was it just try and go for any move that you could when you got the chance, or was it kind of just play the waiting game and then just see what happens? But still, that was a pretty feisty battle.
Yeah, I screwed my qualifying up. That's why I ended up 9th. Should have been in the top few. But yeah, I couldn't drive consistently, so they kept taking a 10th off me every lap. So, but I just waited, and I could see Anthony waiting behind me just for the pack to come back to us, really, once they started fighting. And then it was just me trying to get used to the pack's pace and not run into the last guy. I was just trying to make sure I didn't do that. And then I didn't really know what my strategy was because I was too far back to really think about it. So it was really a wait and see. And I just lucked into the 3rd place there. Didn't really do a lot. I feel like Bottas.
That's a pretty good analogy. I like that one. But yeah, just thinking about the championship as well. Obviously, you finished in 3rd place, but as we're just about halfway through the season, what do you think you can do in the championship? Do you think you can take the battle to Benny, or is it just a case of hoping that Benny slips up and just try and pounce and get a good result or even a win when the opportunity arises?
Yeah, I think I've just got to go try and get some wins, get some nice fun races. I've had too many bad results to really think about the championship until we get closer to the end, and then maybe have a run at it if it's possible.
I'm looking to Tsukuba next week. It's the full layout that we're using. Do you like the track? Have you got lots of experience, or is it kind of one of those tracks that you prefer to kind of just get out the way as quickly as possible, if you like?
Yeah, it can be fun there. It depends on the weather. But it's really hard to overtake, as you probably know. I can't remember if there was an alternate layout anyway. Oh, I remember, yeah, they take the chicane out, don't they? Or take one of the corners out. Yeah, not my favourite, but not the worst on the calendar.
And lastly, before we let you go, Simon, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to Masternaut. Managed to get their logo in on the broadcast eventually. And then I know Alan's not joined today. I don't know what he's doing, but to Alan as well. Alan Patterson, who runs the championship.
Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on third place, Simon, and hopefully you could possibly go one better or even two better and finish on the top step next week.
Yeah, would be good, wouldn't it?
Again, congratulations on third, Simon, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you for that, Ryan. And Will, Simon, Nick and George, next week we are heading to Tsukuba and the full 200 or 2000 layout. I believe it's called 200, so that's going to be a tricky place to overtake, but a lot of good racing still. But that is in 1 week's time. Today's race at Road Atlanta, won by Nicholas Von Roberts, the fourth winner of the season. You have been watching the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone with me, Linus Brostrom, and Ryan Walker, with Hugo Luis as always doing the amazing job behind the cameras. Join us same time, same place next week. Until then, take care everybody and stay safe. Goodbye.